the new face of poverty may not look how it look at all. It may be somebody with a job, a car, and a house, and is still one emergency away from losing everything. How did we get here, America, where people have to work 2, 3 jobs, putting their life in front line just to survive, to pay the bills? Not survives even. We don't even call this survives. It's way beyond survive. It's becoming too much where family have to work 3, 4 times just to afford cost of living. That's ridiculous. And don't tell me if you live in the big cities, you definitely will know what I'm talking about. Gas is ridiculous. Grocery store is out to the roof. Rent, don't even tell me. A lot of gens these days cannot even move out of their parents. They probably snuggle with family members or just stick with the family, living on the basement. Nothing to do, no jobs anymore. It's becoming tough little by little every day in America, and people start to notice. And if you're new on this channel, do me a favor, subscribe, share, comment, like. And for everybody who have been subscribed, thank you all. We have hit 2,000 subscribers. Oh my God. Man, you guys been hella blessing in my life, and I couldn't do this without you guys. So we hit 2,000 subscribers. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, let's check out this video.
Y'all rag on homeless people so much. Y'all rag on homeless people so much, but you know how much of the population doesn't even have $1,000 emergency fund? But the homeless people. But the immigrants. No, bitch. But you. But the government. But our local government. But the worst.
Can somebody explain to me why the fuck I am paying every single month for dental insurance when the treatment of the only place that accepts my insurance, I literally had to drive 30 minutes away from the city I live in to find a place? And tell me why the treatment costs $2,758. Do you want to guess how much insurance is covering of that? Because it's $245. That is more or less than I'm gonna be fucking paying for insurance this year. Why? I can't afford this. To get a cleaning and I need a cavity fill. They said one of my fillings fell out. It's gonna cost me $2,500.
We are the richest country in the world, right? Right? Why are there 35 million people in this country that live below the poverty line and can't live anywhere because they're below the poverty line?
Y'all really calling fucking poor people fat phobic. Obviously, y'all ain't never lived on the fucking block seeing kids eat raw hot dogs out of the pack and that they fucking food for 2 days because they mama and daddy don't forgot to feed them, right? They the skinniest kids in class. Y'all ain't never really been poor. Y'all ain't never really experienced that. Y'all ain't never seen it. Y'all ain't never had family that had to like steal fucking food from the grocery stores. Y'all can kiss my ass with this fake social media advocacy and fat phobia, this, that, and the third. Y'all ain't never been poor.
Years. This is how you get the most.
Hey, Americans, really think on this one, okay? I just came up with this one. I'm pretty sure you already know this. But, so as I'm getting ready, I literally had a nugget that just came into my mind and was thinking, we as Americans been watching commercials and everything like that of everyone else in poverty, right? So that's been like our whole upcoming, right? On commercials, people in the desert, feeding them with the coins. And come to think about it, the whole time, as we're watching other people supposedly in poverty, we are the one that is in poverty the whole time. Crazy, isn't it?
What should the poverty line be? Right now it's $31,000, but there's an argument out there that it should be something more like $100,000 or even $140,000, depending on where you live. I wrote a piece about the poverty line saying it should be $140,000. It went wildly viral. Explain why you think $31,000 is inadequate.
Well, first, to understand what that 31,000 is coming from, it is an old derivation of an estimate of a family in crisis.
Until it happens to them, everybody just tends to think, oh, that'll never happen to me. But all it takes, a couple of medical conditions happen at the same time and a couple of months off of work without disability. And time is quickly passing, and before you know it, it's like you've lost everything. School, I want to be back making the amount of money that I know I'm worth. I want my girls to have stability at least.
Did you know that there's a new study that measures the poverty line in the U.S. right now for a family of 4 is closer to $140,000? If you look online, the government talks about the poverty line being closer to $32,000, but that's for starvation, right? So they haven't accounted for the increase in food, the increase in housing, the increase in childcare, and the increase in healthcare. So this new research is like the new poverty line, not starvation line, which is the $32,000, but the new poverty line for a family of 4 is closer to $140,000. So in case you're stressed this holiday season and you think it's because you're like anxious or managing too many things at work, I want you to consider if you're actually experiencing the very natural and normal circumstances of living within a system that is toxic as fuck. You're not stressed this holiday season. You're human.
Why is poverty seen as a personal failure rather than a societal one? I hate how capitalism has gaslit us to believe that more money means harder working. That if you're poor, it's your fault. You should have just grinded harder. And it's definitely not the fault of a system that's completely rigged against you, designed by the 1%, meant only to benefit the 1%. And they want us to blame each other so that we don't blame them. You have to remember, billionaires need us. We don't fucking need them.
Did you know that the new poverty line in America is considered $140,000 to be just doing well? We grew up hearing that the old poverty line was like $32,000. But in actuality, due to inflation, two-parent home, childcare, family, and other things, to just make it, this is the amount of money you need in most metropolitan cities in America. And the reason why it's important to keep this stuff information, because a lot of the standards and things we call for, you really got to know what it costs just to survive. And this information was released in November of 2025, but I only think it's going to get worse, y'all. Just think about it. You need $140,000 for a family of 2, groceries, insurance, food, new car every 5 or 6 years. This is what you need to survive. So when you have these things about what you need in your family, this is what you got to remember. How much the world has changed in our very lifetime. Pay attention. Always pay attention to what's going on so you can see what the world is changing.
In the same amount of time it took the United States to create just 1 trillionaire, China lifted over 850 million workers out of poverty, bringing down their poverty rate to below 1% by 2021.
Yes, China's poverty rate is at 1%. Wow, so amazing. Wait, they define poverty as $2.15 per day? What about America?
Whereas the United States has hovered at the same exact poverty level of 12%.
Oh no, over 10% of our population is in poverty. How do we measure poverty? This is a little hard to compare because the 10% is not measured the same as 1%. Now let's use a metric to measure these the same. PPP, which adjusts so that an identical basket of goods costs the same everywhere. Using PPP data, we can see what percent of the population makes how much money, and it adjusts on its own. Now we see China is below 1% in their population making $2.15. Now compared to America, we are at 1%. Now let's increase this. 31.32% of China's population makes $10 a day. Compare this to America, where only 2% of our population is that broke. Now one more comparison. 99.62% of China's population can't even make $100 a day. They all make below that. Compare that to America only being at 66.90%. The saddest thing, they think income inequality is a bad thing. Why? When it's a larger share of your population making money, you have a higher chance of being well off in America than China. To be in China's top 1%, you make $80 a day. Again, this is equalized to American purchasing power. So fucking embarrassing.
These jobs are lying to us about their pay. So I find this one job as a caregiver at assisted living, $18 an hour for full-time, which is still bad. But wait, you scroll down to the end of the job description, minimum salary, 15, the max is 18. And then all the way at the bottom it says 17. What is it? They are lying to us. This is why people are not taking shitty jobs and why they're still not getting hired, because companies are not willing to be transparent about how much they actually pay.
If you're planning on moving to the United States from another country, don't. But it's the land of opportunity. Why wouldn't we move there? First of all, we're probably going to start you off at $7.55 an hour, which is crap. Rent is going anywhere between $800 and $2,200 for a one-bedroom apartment in this country. There's no socialized health care. You're not going to find that anywhere here, so good luck with that one. And don't get me started on the price of groceries. You're barely going to be able to afford those without SNAP benefits. Well, at least it's a democracy where we can vote our leaders in. Good luck with that one. The popular vote don't count. It's all about electoral votes. The only thing reasonably priced in this country is gasoline, and considering the rest of the countries are paying by the liter, paying by the gallon isn't that bad. And no matter what you want to buy, it's usually financed, so it's either credit cards or you're going to have a mortgage or a lease or a loan or whatever, but you're going to be paying interest rates. The only opportunity you have here is to be a good worker bee, so good luck, slave.
Sorry, but you do not get to complain about the cost of rent while also refusing to get a roommate. The cost of living crisis has gotten out of control, but I think we forget that living alone is a luxury and
Back when I was 19 years old, 7 years ago, you know what? I lived alone. I had a nice studio, and it was $800 a month. Do you know what that studio is going for now? That exact same studio, $1,800. It over doubled in 7 years. That is not okay. Back in 2000s, they made movies where if you had roommates and you were 25, guess what? You were considered a loser. Do you know why? The economy used to be so good, everyone lived alone. Back in the 1950s, 60s, 70s, you know what happened? You were gay if you had a roommate. That's literally how good the economy was. The only reason it's a luxury now is literally because, guess what? We aren't taxing the rich anymore. We are giving them the money. We are giving them tax breaks so they don't have to pay. And you know what happens? They raise the prices on everything. They raise the prices. We pay more in taxes, and guess what? Everything costs more, we can't afford to live alone, and then we blame it on a housing crisis. That's only a crisis because guess what? We don't want to fix this.
I know I'm not the only one. I feel like everybody in American society knows that something is fundamentally wrong, no matter which side that you're on. I think we can all collectively agree that this has gone too far, okay? Whether it be inflation, our money going towards genocide, whatever, right? I'm not, regardless, okay? I think, yeah, maybe we're pitted against each other in some aspects, but I think at the very fundamental core, we can all recognize something is not right. But the thing is, everybody is so distracted, or, the inflation is so high, so we all have to work to keep up with bills, yada, 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 that everybody doesn't want to do anything about it. But I think in the back of a lot of our minds, we recognize there is something wrong. But then also getting everybody on board, creating a plan or whatever, is literally like herding cattle or not knowing where to start, whatever. But I can't be the only one that feels this way. I think at the end of the day, a lot of us have that shared collective opinion, okay? I think at the end of the day, we have a lot more in common than the people in power would want us to believe. And I think we all know this is not normal, the way things are going.
You know what else would help you? Getting another job. Yeah, try that.
Paycheck is about $120 every 2 weeks, so it's hard.
You're a lazy piece of shit, and you're entitled.
I sleep at Amy's pillow. This is where my sister sleeps with her dog.
Why would I ever help you?
Told that I was $2 over the income limit. Was not eligible for even $1 in food stamps.
Oh my God, welcome to the real world, sweetheart. People lose their jobs every
never seen a thriving town with a Dollar General in it. And that's not a coincidence, it's the entire business model. In Tulsa, Oklahoma, the wealthy side of the city outlives the poor side by 14 years, and the poor side has no grocery stores, but just Dollar Generals. So here's how it works. They target the poorest communities in America and slash prices just long enough to run the local grocery store out of business. And the CEO said this out loud to investors. The economy is continuing to create more of our core consumer, he said. So they are literally betting on poverty getting worse. And in these stores, there's little to no fresh meats or produce, and everything looks cheap until you check the ounces. They sell you smaller packages for nearly the same price as full-size product anywhere else, sometimes charging 52% more per pound while making you feel like you're saving money. The saddest part is these people aren't making that bad of choices, they're making the only choice available, and that's exactly why the poorest counties in America have obesity rates 145% higher than wealthy ones. So support the small co-op grocers, farmers markets, and independent family farmers directly, because every dollar you keep out of their system is a vote for the town they're trying to take over.
I just came back on vacation and we did like a road trip, and we had to drive through the deep south to get there. And boy, let me tell you, there was quite literally nothing like poverty in the deep south states. Like, people can, say whatever they want about like big cities like Chicago, San Francisco, New York, LA with their like homeless problem and people not being able to keep up with the cost of living. But you have truly not seen poverty in America until you've been to like the deep south. Like, the people there live well below their means. And like, it's insane because they don't even know it. Like they would never know it. And this is not me being entitled or something like that. These people were living in rundown trailers and houses. Like it's insane. And apparently some of these houses or like some of these towns don't even have like clean running water in places like Mississippi and Alabama. Yet their representatives in Congress will go out there and vouch for fucking AI data centers in these states whenever people in their state are literally suffering. Like, that is as bad as poverty gets in the United States. Like, without being homeless, of course. And like, it is almost comparable to some places I've been to, like outside of the United States, like in Mexico, like in Central America. Like, it's very comparable. And even then, in some of the places I've been to, at least they have clean running water. You know what I mean?
I know I'm not the only one. I feel like everybody in American society knows that something is fundamentally wrong, no matter which side that you're on. I think we can all collectively agree that this has gone too far, okay? Whether it be inflation, our money going towards genocide, whatever, right? Regardless, okay? I think, yeah, maybe we're pitted against each other in some aspects, but I think at the very fundamental core, we can all recognize something is not right. But the thing is, everybody is so distracted, or, the inflation is so high, so we all have to work to keep up with bills, yada, 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 that everybody doesn't want to do anything about it. But I think in the back of a lot of our minds, we recognize there is something wrong. But then also getting everybody on board, creating a plan or whatever, is literally like herding cattle or not knowing where to start, whatever. But I can't be the only one that feels this way. I think at the end of the day, a lot of us have that shared collective opinion, okay? I think at the end of the day, we have a lot more in common than the people in power would want us to believe. And I think we all know this is not normal, the way things are going.
Is it worse to be poor in London or America as a black person? So I am actually British and American, as you might not know. And I can confidently say being poor in America is way worse. Because in England, frankly, you don't have to worry about your council estate getting shot up. Sure, you have gang violence in the same way, but the amount of violence that occurs in the United States senselessly is very crazy. Like, I can think of multiple shootings that have happened over parking spaces. That's not a thing that really happens in the UK. And you also have to realize in the UK, there is not a vested interest of keeping a specific person down consistently. Like, racism exists everywhere, but you have to be aware of the systematic abuse in the United States of black people that has occurred since like the 1600s. And there's always been vested interests in ensuring that black Americans would suffer because it was easier and more profitable for them to suffer. Then when you consider the things that the government has done, like, you know, drop a firebomb on a socialist movement's house, it really doesn't compare. And I have family that live in council estates, and ultimately, yeah, they visually suck, but what you are exposed to in a council estate is nowhere near as bad.
I made a video not too long ago stating that far too many of you are way too poor to be classist. And despite me over-enunciating most of my words, the message is still not clear. I'm getting comments saying can't relate and we do not all struggle the same. What are you fighting so hard to do? Look down on the poor? Yikes, Dr. Evil. Now we have to do class consciousness for dummies. You cannot fathom wealth. Wealth unfathomable for the average American citizen. You will not day in the life your way to wealth. Stop trying. It's not going to work. You are evil. That is the main motivation behind it. You either resent being poor or you're just a terrible person. Sometimes both, right? So if you are not an ally to the working class, you are an enemy. And me and Harriet Tubman would have far too much in common with an AK if I was around you. That is all.
There's really no other way to go about saying it other than being poor in America should be considered a disability. You guys might be angry with me, and it may not fit the traditional criteria for a disability, as it may be a condition, but still, this system has made it to a point where being poor, the effects that it has on the individual's life and inability to truly perform and maintain one's well-being should be considered a disability. And the reason it won't be is because that opens up the conversation for universal basic income. Or it forces us to look at what powers that be are allowing wealthy people to exploit the government so much so that this many poor people are allowed to exist impoverished, hungry, houseless, unmedicated, untreated, and we're just okay with it, as if that's not going to have more consequences on general society in about 10 to 20 years, if not within the next 5, especially due to the amount of laws being changed.
So you guys need to sit down for this and hear what happened in Oklahoma. And let me tell you, Republicans want us dirt poor. They want us poor. This is the clearest evidence yet. So last week, people in Oklahoma got to go out and vote on a single issue, a ballot initiative to increase the minimum wage from rock bottom, $7.25 to $12 an hour. And over the next 4 years, it would steadily increase to $15 an hour. All still considered poverty wages with today's cost of living and inflation. And it lost 55% to 45%. Now, that's a separate conversation, how the people of Oklahoma could vote against their own best interests. But we need to talk about the lengths Republicans went to keep Oklahomans poor, to keep them poor. So they got enough signatures in 2024 to make it on the ballot in 2024, when we were all turning out to vote for the presidential election. Record-breaking turnout. Republicans knew that. They knew if there was a record-breaking turnout, this ballot initiative would pass overwhelmingly. So what did Republicans do? They had Governor Stitt sign an executive order pushing the election for this ballot initiative a year and a half into the future, meaning last week. When voter turnout would be historically low, they didn't even have this on a primary election with a whole lot of other elections going on. This was like a standalone vote. So, who turned out to vote? MAGA Republicans in rural areas. And it failed. Now, I want you to hear what the Republicans had to say about this. The Republican State Chamber applauded Oklahoma voters for rejecting this ballot initiative. Tonight, voters chose to protect Oklahoma's economic momentum and one of our greatest competitive advantages, affordability. Oklahoma ranks number 8 in poverty rates. It's the 8th poorest state in the country. Nearly 20% of those in Oklahoma are on food stamps, meaning you and I in blue states are funding them because their Republicans won't allow them to get paid more per hour so they don't have to be on food stamps. 12% of people living in Oklahoma cannot afford health care. They're uninsured. And get this, the tax inequality ranking, they rank 16th in terms of taxing poor people more and taxing wealthy people the least, meaning Republicans were more than happy to get behind giving rich people more money and not the working class. In Oklahoma, I want you to hear something else. Because of the Republican shenanigans, because the ballot initiative was worded so it could be on the ballot in 2024, the language was finalized in 2024, but it caused confusion in voters last week because it said it was asking voters to increase the minimum wage starting in 2025, and it caused confusion. This is over the top. Republicans literally are stumbling over each other to make sure people stay poor. There you go.
Hi there. Are you the owner of this home?
No.
I'd love to see if I can put an offer on the property.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Full crowd in here. You guys all live here? Huh?
I've been here about 6 months. They've been here longer. So this is my room back here. I filled in these spots here, and I seen a mouse come down out of the ceiling.
Oh my God, that's terrifying. You share this room with your fiance? Or,
Yeah.
Can we check out your fridge?
They get some gross burritos. That's this piece of ginger that I don't know why it's in there.
No, ginger's good for you.
This is their room.
Pleasure. Do you share this room?
Me, my son, my fiance.
Is there ever water leaking?
It was leaking over there.
Do you know who the owner is?
Yes, I do.
Is he not involved at all in repairing any of this stuff? This is your fiance?
Yeah, I guess I'm an electrician.
This place needs a lot of electrical work. Who's gonna pay you to do it?
I'll pay him. Yeah.
Turn around outside. What brought you here?
Homeless. Yeah, Frankie?
At nighttime, I stay on the sidewalk. I got out of prison, and like a week later, I was back on the street.
How long were you in prison?
18 months.
How much do you think this scrap here is worth?
Maybe $3.
Well, I appreciate your time. Here's $200 for you.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
So who would you say is in charge of the house?
If there was an emergency, I would call Mr. Bible.
What's going on?
This house was nice. Everybody came in, broke stuff. I used to be homeless, bro. But you gotta want it to stop.
Thank you so much. So I'm opening up prop streams. This property was bought for 30 grand, and now this thing is worth at least 150 grand based on other properties similar in this area. The owner of this home, they could easily fix up this property. I would not have people living like that.
I'm at that weird age where no money is enough money. Like, I remember thinking if I made $50,000, I'd be good. Then it was 80,000. Then it was 100. There's no amount of money that will make me comfortable living in the U.S. I need y'all to start commenting below some of these other countries I can move to where rent is like $500 a month and I'm living a life of luxury.
Normal people deserve to be happy. Thinking this shit normal, working all them fucking hours. I never would have thought that me working 2 jobs last year would be the norm for this year. Oh, I have a $700 mortgage. Now I can afford things. Now I'm going to be able to move on up in life. Wrong, bitch. I'll hit you with a $800 light bill. We're going to go up on that. I'm in a constant state of anxiety. And then the little doses of serotonin I do have, they don't fucking last long. I deserve to be happy. I see why people get high now. I wish I could do the shit, but I can't. It just doesn't affect me the way it affects others. And the teacher gonna come calling me, talking about, oh, well, your son sat for 2 hours and didn't do his math lesson. Bitch, what you want me to do? You want me to be mad at a fucking 10-year-old for realizing that this all is a fucking joke? You got this boy for 8 fucking hours, Monday through Friday. You mad cause he chose to take 2 of them motherfucking hours and say, fuck you, bitch? He tied too. At a young fucking age. God forbid my mother actually makes a fucking decent wage, get paid to just be herself. Y'all be making the wrong motherfuckers famous. Fuck them celebrities. Them motherfuckers all combined together ain't did shit for you. Fuck they music, fuck they fucking reality TV shows, fuck their fashion, fuck their makeup, fuck their hair care products, bitch. We out here fighting for our fucking lives. I don't give a fuck about a Met Gala. Fuck is you talking about? I got 2 mouths to feed. Y'all worry about the wrong shit. Nobody really fucking thinking. Distraction after distraction. Ain't got no motherfucking reaction. Y'all acting like this shit normal. And all it does is tear us further the fuck away from humanity and your soul. Y'all done lost y'all motherfucking soul.
You know how to survive because you're poor. You know how to do that. We ain't never had no money, so we poor people, we know how to make it. Cause know how to build a fire, know how to go fish, know how to go hunt. A lot of people don't.
When you think of the poorest place in America, you might think of dirt roads and miserable people, but you'd be wrong.
Take sandwich breads and make a sandwich bread sandwich.
In Mississippi, in the poorest counties in America, we found a world where life is complicated. The hoods are in the mountains, the towns are quiet, the buildings are beautiful, and the people are poor.
I believe that we below poverty. We are below, it's not near, we are below poverty. The town looked like a tornado came through just south of Trading Sound.
We set off through this part of the Mississippi Delta to understand life in America's poorest county. Instead, we found a world that was nothing like we expected. Our day would end in a violent mountain town that was vastly different from anywhere else we've ever seen.
Hey, tell me it be lit, nigga. Oh, shit! In this life is you and me. Either way,
Mississippi, home of the horse. To get there, though, we started in the hills of Vicksburg, a beautiful but shrinking city on the Mississippi River.
It seems just from driving around here that there's almost like 2 Vicksburgs.
Yes. Well, that's one thing about Vicksburg. Nothing seems to last here anymore. Downtown Vicksburg used to be a thriving place, you know, and it's dead. But now people have the alternative to go to Jackson to shop. I see at one time there used to be grocery stores just about on every corner. You know, the only main grocery stores we have here in Vicksburg now is Walmart and Kroger's. We had A&P's, we had Jitney Jungles, we had Piggly Wiggly's, not anymore. Got some pretty rough areas here. If you live here, you know where they're at. And try to stay away from them. And I mean, the way things are in these days and times, best place to be at after dark is at home. People don't want to work. You know, drugs, and for them to get drugs, they don't work. Guess where they get it? They're stealing.
When you were a kid here, was there still Jim Crow?
Who?
Jim Crow laws and segregation?
Oh, yeah. Whites were whites and blacks were blacks. They stayed to themselves. White people stayed to themselves. We had some restaurants, cafes, and different places. Your doctor's offices. You had a door for the whites. You had a door for the colored. People don't think like they now like they did back then, because all the people that thought like that are dead and gone.
Vicksburg embodies the Delta. Warm weather, places both beautiful and decrepit, and Southern soul alongside a lot of social problems.
We got some good and bad. The young guys, I don't remember around them. You hear them on TV, you see them on TV. Somebody got shot down here, somebody got robbed. Keep yourself and better yourself, and leave all that nigga shit alone. Try to make that money, hard to make that money around here. Ain't no way. Like a guy like him walking like that, they'll try to rob him. So you done bust that motherfucker, leave him down there, leave him bust.
What do most people do for work around here?
They got a lot of business around here. Churches, got Kentucky, Popeye.
You worked at churches?
Yeah, I was there 26 years.
26 years? All right.
I quit.
What was it like around here when you were a kid? How was Vicksburg?
Go to school, get your education. Skip school, cut your ass. Tear your ass up. You go to school then. I ain't looking for no woman. I ain't thinking of no woman. It's a headache. I don't fuck around like that, no. Because these women out here don't know what they got. You don't know if she got AIDS, SIP, gonorrhea. They don't tell you. When they take the clothes off, oh! You smell something, a woman coming out of the gym, something wrong with her.
Great to meet you. We appreciate it.
You have a good one.
Learn a lot about the city talking to you.
All right.
Keep it real out here, Earl.
I'm trying to.
Heading out of Vicksburg toward the forest town of Hermanville, we drove into Claiborne County. This was once among the country's richest counties, with massive cotton plantations worked by slaves. Today, it's both the blackest and poorest county in America. 88% of its people are black, and the average household income is $28,000. You might think that people here would be bitter, but that's not what we found in the town of Port Gibson.
Claiborne County has been here a long time, and it's nothing like what it used to be. It was a flourishing town at one time.
Really?
We had clothing stores, furniture stores.
Now we got to ride to Vicksburg and Natchez to
get a pair of stockings.
Drawers, a pair of drawers or something.
We're a poor county, and we should be the richest one because we got that nuclear plant right down there on the coast.
Why is it so poor when you do have that huge plant right there?
Yeah. Our county, they couldn't agree. Our supervisors and people in our, they couldn't agree on what they wanted to do, and they argued back and forth, so the state took it over.
I know now this is one of the blackest counties in the country.
The state, yeah.
Was it like that when you were kids, or were there more white people here?
It was more white people. And the more black came in and moved into neighborhoods, they moved out.
You remember when it was segregated?
Yes, it was horrible. It was horrible. I tell you one thing I can remember vividly. We had a corner drugstore up on this street up here. White people could go in the front door. We would have to go on the side street and go in the back door. They would not integrate their private schools, so they forced us. They bused us there. The majority of the white, they went to private schools. So eventually, they moved to different locations. So now all the neighborhoods that we consider white neighborhoods, they're not there anymore. It's only black.
Somebody watching this checked their bank account this morning and felt that drop in their stomach, and then did the thing that we all do. Blamed yourself. Ran the numbers again like the problem was you. Thought about the coffee you shouldn't have bought. Like somehow $4 is why you can't breathe. But I need you to sit down for this one, okay? Because I found the equation that they're using on you. And once you see it, you're never going to carry that shame the same way again. The official poverty line in America, the number that decides who gets counted as struggling and who gets help, is about 31,000 for a family of 4. But do you know where that number was born? In 1963. One woman, an economist named Molly Oshensky, she needed a quick estimate, so she took the cheapest emergency food budget the government had published, the Eating to Survive one, and then she multiplied it by 3. Because in the 50s, food was a third of the family's budget. The cheapest groceries times 3. That's it. That's the whole equation your life is being graded by. And this country's government froze it. For 60 years, they've just been adjusting that grocery list for inflation. That equation has never heard of your rent. It thinks childcare is your mama down the street. It was written before health insurance could bankrupt you. Before a phone was a condition of employment. Molly herself warned them. She said the number was being misused and that it understated the need. She spent the rest of her career watching the rough draft become the wall between millions of families and help. The grocery math from before the moon landing is still deciding, tonight, whose kids deserve assistance. So researchers finally did what the government refused to do for 60 years. The honest math. They called it ALICE, asset limited, income constrained, employed. They went county by county all over this entire country and priced what it cost to simply survive. Rent, childcare, food. The car that gets you to work. Healthcare, a phone, taxes. No savings. No emergency fund. No birthday money, no Christmas. No sitting down at a restaurant. The budget where one flat tire could end you. That's what they priced. And a family of 4, depending on your county. $70,000 to over $140,000 per year. Just to survive. But the government says that you're okay at 32,000. Survival starts at 70. And every single family living in that canyon between those two numbers, working, exhausted, drowning, and officially fine, that's Alice. You want to know how many Americans are down there? The government admits to 13%. Right. If you add Alice, it's 42. 42%. 2 out of every 5 households in America cannot afford to exist. Not thrive, just exist. Now here's the one that made me put my phone down. Florida ran the math on a family of 4. Both parents working full-time. And 2 of the most common jobs in the state. A personal care aide. She spends her whole day taking care of somebody's grandmother. And a stock worker. He's on his feet all night so the shelves are full when you decide to shop. 2 grown people giving everything they have. Every week. $20,000 short. Every single year before anything goes wrong. Do you understand what that means? There's no coupon for that, no side hustle, no skipped coffee, no budgeting app that closes a $20,000 hole. Full-time employment in this country is a math problem that was written with no answer. And the whole time, that family is looking at each other across the kitchen table thinking, what are we doing wrong? Nothing. You're not doing anything wrong. The equation was rigged before your parents were born. And I need you to see who Alice is. Because you saw her today. She took your blood pressure. She's got your toddler on her hip at the daycare right now. He bagged your groceries. She answered when you called the insurance company. The people holding everybody else's life together cannot afford their own. But because they earn $1 over 1963 grocery math, the system stamps them fine. Too rich for help, too broke to live. And that gap is not an accident. A low poverty line keeps the help small. Do the honest math, and this country would have to look at itself and admit that almost half its households can't afford the basics, when the official count only calls 1 in 8 of them impoverished. That old equation isn't outdated. It's holding up the entire story America tells about itself. So tonight when the shame shows up, I want you to remember what you learned here today. You're not bad with money. You didn't fail adulthood. Your parents' generation wasn't stronger than you. They were playing on a board where the math could still balance. You're being graded by a grocery list written in 1963. And you've spent years apologizing for failing a test that was designed to be failed. You were never bad at math. The math was built to be bad at you. And it found you. It found 42% of us. So look around. 2 out of 5. You were never alone down here. You were just one of the only ones who thought it was your fault.